Picture it. You're a college-enriched child again. Stress, bill, and felony-free. You don't know what the IRS is, and you haven't yet caused your parents' divorce. Your adolescent mind is being inundated with early 2000s internet slop that slowly begins to shape your sense of humor. The memes, the swagger, the questionable behavior. You lap it up like a thirsty dog. Your personality becomes a pastiche of these creators. Are you insufferable for the rest of middle school? Yes. Do you have moments now where you wake up in a cold sweat, remembering your cringe behavior? Perhaps. But my gosh, you are free. Do you ever revisit some of the content you used to watch when you were a kid and think, dang, I was really watching anything, huh? To be fair, what I watch now is not any better. It might, if anything, be worse. Some might call that regression. I call it being consistent. As someone rapidly and noticeably decaying, I watch some of these 15-plus-year-old YouTube videos and wonder, is this person still alive? So why not beat the dead horse that is nostalgia? I'll probably do a volume 2 of this, so let me know in the comments down below. Who were the creators that shaped your sense of humor / personality, for better or worse? You can be honest. It's okay. This is a safe space. Did that sound believable? Did some of those creators turn out to be weirdos? What took them down? Old tweets or DMing minors? Let me know down below what transgression or slur took down your childhood fave like a sniper. Type it out in full in the comments. Better yet, write it using emojis like a hieroglyph. I'm keeping this list of people to strictly online creators, okay? So as much as the Golden Girls and 2011 Charlie Sheen shaped really who I am today, they can't be on this list. I'm also keeping it to individuals who either fell off, stopped making content, are doing something else that's sort of unrelated. So as much as, Brandon Rogers or Shane Dawson, as I watched back in the day, they're still making content, they're still posting and, relevant. Or if it's an individual like Issa Rae, whose web series I was watching back in the day, but obviously she went on to bigger things. So if they're still relevant as comedy creators, including them would be pretty redundant. People know what they're up to now. Unrelated, but pre-mega fame Childish Gambino was featured in Issa Rae's web series. Back when he was like gooning to Asian women.
I would've the daylights out of that Chinese lady. If I could that Chinese lady, my life would be that Chinese lady. I can't that Chinese woman. I almost that Chinese lady on the. Yes, I would that Chinese woman. Sexy Chinese women usually have that Chinese bitch, man. I'm quitting TikTok as that Chinese bitch broke. That Chinese slut will never see my business. Chinese have stolen my heart and shit. That Chinese.
No amount of critical acclaim can wash away your sins, Donald. And as much as I adore some of these people, I'm not going to include super niche creators or memes that most of you are just not familiar with.
Hi, losers. You're telling me I'm a beast? Really? You don't know what you're talking about. Beast. You're jealous because I know I'm beautiful. You're not. You're jealous. You are just like a rat jumping around the corner looking for a food. Very jealous.
Or anyone too current, like a Mr. Dan Herschel.
So I'm going to give you some tough love, ADHD people. You listen to me. Your mental illness doesn't exist. It's not real. We made up all the mental illnesses just so that we could con insurance companies into thinking that we were actually doing medical science. Mental illnesses aren't real.
Okay, that was a long-winded disclaimer that is over. And heads up, by the way, there might be some more than usual censorship in some of these segments because I am not going to allow this video to get demonetized. Walmart is not going to take food off of my Tamagotchi's plate. All right, let's begin. Filthy Frank, aka George Kusunoki Miller, eventually known as Joji. Georgie Boy sprung forth onto this plane of existence in Osaka, Japan on the 16th of September, 1993. The year of whoomp there it is, according to the American Zodiac. He is half Japanese and half Australian. While attending Canadian Academy in Kobe, Japan, he created multiple YouTube channels, Cosmochino, Aussie Asian Boys, Casey Anthony Official, and OJ Senpai. Okay, the last two were mine. But his first channel that eventually blew up was Disaster Music. The first available video on his now dead channel is the harrowing Lil Jon Falls Off a Table, uploaded on June 19th, 2008, the year of Soulja Boy. Please respond back to my DMs, Soulja. The Tempura Boys was his first web series. Well, I mean, there's one episode. Next episode will come out when we have time to film. The lack of follow-through proves that this kid was going to be an artist. When George, along with his Tomodachi, what you know about Duolingo? Well, he, along with Brian and Takahiro, transform into the titular superheroes, Red Fly, Blue Moth, and White Ant, respectively, with Sunny playing Dr. Sugi Sugihara. You can see the foundation for his Filthy Frank style even in his early videos. His affinity for cheeky, random humor, building lore, being a menace, and having him and his friends engage in public humiliation rituals. For the next few years, his channel had fairly inconsistent uploads. You know, he was in high school. With heartfelt short films like Tragedy of the Homeless Crap, a Michael Jackson biopic, and a remake of Deliverance, Redneck Nightmare. It's a lot of him goofing with his amigos. Very crunchy, old school YouTube. Like, you know, he edited these videos on a Toshiba. He'd always had an interest in music and was part of his school's choir. He was pulling an 8 Mile and was rapping in the Japanese underground hip-hop scene with the group Beats and Miso. As a senior in high school, he was asked what he wanted to do with his life.
I like entertaining, so I would like to just be an entertainer in general. I like rapping, I like just being myself. But what I really like seeing though is the smiles on people's faces when I do what I do, because at the end of the day, everyone needs a break, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here to make everyone smile.
George eventually moved to the land of grills and pills, baby. He was attending the New York Institute of Technology in Brooklyn. The very first appearance of the character, Filthy Frank, was on August 5th, 2011.
I'd like to share with you a little story.
This ashy voice would only grow even more gravelly, and that button-up would get even crustier. I bet that ish smells like old breast milk. The channel started picking up steam around 2012, consisting of riveting cultural commentary, like Asian Nerd Says N-Word, and a favorite of HRH collection, I Hate Fat People. This is what Soul Cycle instructors are required to listen to in their sleep. Filthy Frank was the epitome of what a vlogger should not be. Politically incorrect, unkempt, repugnant to advertisers, living a life that most did not really find enviable. This era of the internet, as many of you might remember, or at least this corner of the internet, I don't know what heifers were doing on RuneScape, was very edgelord, ironic, transgressive humor, just taking a little nibble of every ism on the buffet line. The black, the brown, BLTQ&A, disabled, Asian, autistic, Jewish, mentally ill. Heck, if you were just ugly, you could catch a stray. It wasn't necessarily that everything was either PC or not PC, as much as it existed kind of on a spectrum, where there was stuff that was edgy, sure, but ultimately it was just funny. And then on the far end, you had very try-hard, transgressive for the sake of being transgressive, what I like to call 4chan brain regression humor. It'll be like a JPEG of a person who's, you know, a member of System of the Downs, and they'll have like an arm patch with like a poorly drawn sticker on it. At least they were poorly drawn when I made them. I never mastered Photoshop. It was the yin to Tumblr's yang, the ultimate double disc of MK Ultra 2.0's project in the virtual world. If you say 4chan in the mirror 3 times, modern day Kanye will emerge. This Heil remix in hand. It has a logic feature. In typical apathetic teen fashion, if you did not like this edgy content, well, you're just a triggered SJW. It is funny to know that half the people who used to watch these compilations religiously are now just Ritalin-besotted Bernie supporters. Or, better yet, vape-addicted Azalea Banks apologists. Filthy Frank was definitely in this edgy subculture, but not so offensive or controversial that he just completely isolated most of the general public. The YouTube algorithm used to be a lot more rewarding of shock content. So in Frank's case, this meant a lot of fluids and bald, ripped Yakubian men, or something gentle, like him singing about seppuku on the ukulele. George's first foray into music as the character Filthy Frank came on November 9th of 2011, with Who's the Sucker, looking like a Hiroshima Harry Potter. His most known character, besides Frank, Pink Guy, who is this semi-verbal Pepto-Bismol entity, was introduced in February of 2012, enabling George and his accomplice, Red Wiener, to terrorize the Japanese public and recreate scenes from Old Boy. The other characters integral to the Filthy Frank universe are gradually introduced from 2011 to 2013. The main characters include Sir Francis of the Filth, knighted by Prince Andrew, Pink Guy, Salamander Man, the flute extraordinaire, Safari Guy, and Chin Chin, the Dark Lord, whose infamous catchphrase, Chin Chin wa daisuki, I think just means I like wee-wee in Japanese. I didn't say this was sophisticated. His content consisted of troll videos, random posts.
And as usual, this show is sponsored by McDonald's. I am loving it. This is my room. Got a lot of cool guy stuff, and Anyways, it's pretty.
The sort of stuff that was a step above YouTube poops and a precursor to a lot of the surreal brain rot memes. Filthy Frank wasn't the only person making this kind of content, but he was very influential, and you can kind of see the trickle-down effects of his meme humor even today.
After looking at these pictures, I realized I am everything that a girl wants. Why did you leave me?
It's your outfit, dude.
By 2013, Filthy Frank was like an internet cult celeb. And what did he do with his newly acquired fame and influence? On February 2nd, 2013, as part of Japan's long overdue retaliatory strike against the US, George released the Harlem Shake. The global impact was devastating. Chin Chin would be proud. In December of 2013, the first Chin Chin sacrifice commenced. For some lore, the Dark Lord Chin Chin did not receive his daily sacrifice and took Salamander Man as hostage, culminating in Filthy Frank asking his audience, nay, begging, to submit sacrifice videos in order to rescue Salamander Man. The Filthy Frank / Chin Chin extended universe is just, it's too much for me to get into, but if you are curious as to the extended lore, the channel Milkra has made a video discussing the timeline. The submissions poured in.
Today, I will be sacrificing to Chin Chin my fedoras. Here was the first fedora I ever bought when I became an atheist, and it has served me a life of euphoria. Orewa Chin Chin ga daisuki.
Oh, Chin Chin sacrifice.
The fact that I actually knew one of the people in this video. For the next year, his uploads were fairly consistent. He'd sprinkle in the occasional music video or song. It seems he understood that transitioning into posting more musical projects would be easier if he was doing it in a character that his audience was already familiar with, instead of just doing like a complete 180 and posting a very authentic singer-songwriter type project. On May 3rd, 2014, in a video titled Filthy Frank Exposes Himself, not in the flasher kind of way. I think he's saving that for his upcoming live shows. In the now deleted video, the real George addresses the audience. He also revealed that he had an undisclosed neurological condition that caused him to have seizures.
I have not been well the last couple months. Long story short, I was born with this, but I was recently diagnosed with a brain condition that ironically gives me seizures. But unfortunately, what happens here is a lot of the seizures are actually induced by stress, which unfortunately a lot of it comes from running this show. It's tough.
He announced the now scrubbed channel Joji Vlogs, which consisted of much more raw and stripped back videos. It seems like he wanted to start making more casual vlog content that was just less stressful. Some of the retrospectives on Filthy Frank kind of make it seem like the response to this reveal was his fanboys basically going, "Aww, we don't care that you have the shakes. Put the pink costume back on." Just pushing him to keep the character going. But based on some of his now deleted tweets after the video was taken down, I don't think the fan reaction was that overwhelmingly negative. Sure, you had the disapproval of some obnoxious individuals, but it seems like it was more George regretting allowing people into his personal life, which is understandable. Shout out to the channel NB Duckman for these tweets. Considering that his Filthy Frank videos were obviously just gaining more traction, already had a built-in fan base, my perspective, I don't want to put words in his mouth, maybe he just understood that continuing an already established online persona, especially one that allowed him to continue creating musical projects, just made more sense than completely starting from scratch. On August 15th, 2014, George announced the creation of the channel TV Filthy Frank. Disaster Music had received enough copyright and community strikes that he thought it best to just leave this channel in the gutter, gasping for breath and starting anew. This even more well-known channel consisted of the same poignant content like Playing Recorder with Nostril and Stephen Hawking Gangster Rap. It was really just anything that your parents would be horrified you were watching at 12. The occasional
African American
would make an appearance and do something that would make Dr. Umar Johnson shed a tear.
What inspired this jiggleation? Because this ain't nothing but a jiggleation right here.
He was still dropping songs under a new character / rap persona, Santa's brother. 50 Fetus in the Womb was unironically a favorite of mine. In 2014, as Pink Eye, he released a full EP. This year also birthed the channel Too Damn Filthy, which had anything from bloopers, YouTube poops, beautiful short films, to collabs. Do y'all remember when Ethan Klein was plump and juicy? And I mean, also not detested. 2014 to 2016 was prime Filthy Frank cultural juggernaut era, with his viral videos, bad internet rappers, Born in the Wrong Generation, and a-bouts, to name a few. The latter came with an accompanying short song that is hauntingly beautiful. 'Cause I'm a a-bou, a frickin' a-bou. Rat Chef is a personal favorite of mine, despite it still kind of making me gag.
Look at the flick of the wrist. Look at the flick of the wrist.
I love a man who can cook, and introduce the bubonic plague to the continental United States. Other well-known videos were 100 accurate life hacks, I hate vegans, and pimp my wheelchair.
You know, we just playing, dog. We wasn't, no disrespect. Yeah, it wasn't serious before. We was kidding. We just around, bro. I didn't really hate. Ain't no beef. The old shit was broke, but you know, now that you with us, now that greater, you with us. You with us, the team.
Nah, a real nigga never forgives. Fuck y'all. Damn, that boy smacked me. He got 22-inch rims.
It was really George's collabs with iDubbbz, Max Mofo, and How To Basics, known unofficially as the Cancer Squad, that a lot of people remember to this day, culminating in their magnum opus, A Gentleman's Guide. The Eloquence Training Shock Collar should be implemented in schools, and I'll make that case in front of Congress. Their hair cake video, I still cannot watch without physically getting sick. This legitimately could be used as anti-American propaganda.
Did you know the U.S. is funding millions of Israelis to kill innocent Palestinians?
Filthy Frank canonically said Free Palestine. His goofy trial audio is, honestly, in my opinion, his magnum opus.
Mr. Goofy, what do you have to say for yourself? Guilty.
This was quite the era. Did y'all see that content cop that Ian uploaded about H3H3? My OG friend group and I felt like we were transported back to high school. Now times have changed. In May of 2015, the second Chin Chin sacrifice commenced. That year, It's Time to Stop also dropped, which is easily his biggest contribution to meme culture. In 2015, under the name Joji, which is like a cutesy nickname for George Japanese, he released Thom and You Suck, Charlie, from the unreleased album Chloe Burbank. That is a witness protection program name if I've ever heard one. This was the first post-fame instance of George being unironic and vulnerable in his music. Plus, I love me a lo-fi beat. Got me feeling melancholic in this Wendy's. By 2017, Too Damn Filthy became a channel that would just post Pink Guy's music, dropping Pink Season. On September 27th, 2017, George uploaded the final Filthy Frank video, where Frank is no more. RIP. He released an accompanying book, Sir Francis of the Filth, which delves further into and expands upon the lore of the Filthy Frank universe. On December 29th, 2017, it was made official. George Miller announced on the virtual hellscape, that is Twitter, that he was done playing Filthy Frank. The reasons being, 1, health concerns, 2, the adpocalypse on YouTube demonetizing a lot of his content, 3, losing interest, and 4, wanting to focus on music. He signed with 88 Rising, which was just snatching up talented Asians at the time. Him and the artist formerly known as Rich Chiga, which, Chiga? Really? You're not even Chinese. You're Indonesian. But I guess Rich Iga just doesn't have the same ring. Now known as Rich Brian, were the two big artists from this label. They were also semi-frequent collaborators, eating chicken wings together and everything. This is the height of artistic collaboration. In 2018, Joji released the epitome of a sad, drunk cry song, Slow Dancing in the Dark. It's a good song, I'm not gonna lie, but this boy got his heart shattered. It made it to the Billboard Top 100 and ARIA charts. This same year, his studio album, Ballads 1, was released. It did well, peaking on the Billboard Top R&B/Hip-Hop Albums chart. In 2020, he released Nectar. His third album, Smithereens, was released in 2022, which included the single Glimpse of Us, his most recent and probably biggest hit. For someone who has never even been in love, the chorus of this song has got me sadly reminiscing. He's gotta be easily the best musician to come out of YouTube. It's not a high bar to clear, but still. George doesn't really seem to like talking about Filthy Frank, usually avoiding the topic in interviews. It seems that he might just want to be known as an actual artist as opposed to an internet meme, especially one that was quite crass. Creators like H3H3 and iDubbbz have been very open about regretting some of their older content. Ian in particular went on a whole apology/self-flagellating tour. This might be petty, but like, what is going on with leftist men and their devotion to this tweaker metrosexual look? I mean, at this point, both of these creators are disliked for a myriad of other reasons.
I have always thought that I was an empathetic person. I think only in these past couple of years have I gained the ability, empathy. It sounds really pathetic, to say at the age of 32, I've acquired empathy.
No, Ian. It is pathetic.
How To Basics and Max are actually doing pretty well. I think Joji made the right decision to dip years ago, and on his own terms. Up next, it's Kingsley / Kingsley, aka King Russell. Born on December 28th, 1990, in Althamer, Arkansas. I had to do a double take on that name. It sounds like you're saying Alzheimer with a lisp. King's first YouTube video was technically uploaded on July of 2009. It's no longer there, but it was about the Jonas Brothers coming to St. Louis, where King was attending university at Mizzou. I'm jealous though. Those girls got to see Nick shake his little diabetes dog tag in person. King, like the proud Midwesterner that he was trying to get some Applebee's with his friends. But the Jonas Brother fangirls were congregated outside, listening to their music, making effigies of Miley Cyrus, I'm assuming. So King made a rant video about that. Because a lot of his early content has been put on private, the first video that's actually available on his channel is Paranormal Blacktivity, obviously a parody of Paranormal Activity, uploaded on October 26, 2010. King was a Britney stan, which obviously his original username came from, you know, the famous Britney line.
Who is it?
His first viral video was in 2010 with Things I Hate.
I hate when I'm in class and the teacher has just explained something and everybody asks the exact same question that they just answered. We were in class the other day and our teacher was talking about this geology field trip we're about to take, and he was like, meet in front of Jesse Hall, blah, 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 at 11, whatever the time. And this girl raises her hand and she's like, where do we meet? What time? Listen,
Diet Scientologist and occasional actor Ashton Kutcher tweeted about some of his early videos, and that gave him a little bump in popularity. My intro to him was the people in scary movies are stupid video, where he was just like yapping in his car. I cannot find it anywhere. I just remember that line: 1 murder, accident. 2, coincidence. 3, that's a pattern. A lot of his early videos are just no longer on his page, but he has re-uploaded some of them in these mega compilation videos. His most popular series early on were his overexposed rants, where he would talk about an overexposed topic of the day, like the pre-flat earther B.O.B.'s hit Airplanes, Kesha, Bin Laden getting canceled.
This 50-year-old black man is rapping in a car, and if he happens to be going to the same party that they're at, then somebody needs to call Chris Hansen, because this is just not acceptable. Where the f*** did he come from?
From 2010 to 2012, Kingsley upgraded from talking in his college dorm to this pop culture shrine.
I don't know you're beautiful, you don't know you're beautiful, and I know this isn't a British accent, but I don't give a
He would do movie reviews, a lot of Q&As, most of which are still up on his page.
If a deaf person has to go to court, is it still a hearing?
I remember his Rihanna impression specifically. That little snow hat with the flaps became his staple, looking like a black South Park character. His channel was very old school traditional YouTube, where someone entertaining was just talking to the camera. It felt like a little grainy Skype call. In 2013, he created the series Really Be Really, starring Lavodka, Beatrice, and Heather Ann. Beatrice's hoarse-voiced mother would occasionally make an appearance.
That is dating my man. Harry Steels. It's Styles. Steels! Styles! Bitch, I'm saying Steels. Bitch, just shut up. You know she's ghetto. Heather, I will come to your house and rip out your ratty extensions. I am not ghetto. I am me.
I actually rewatched this series a few months ago, not even for research. I just remembered that he made them. I was transported back to middle school, back when I was still buck-toothed and had light behind my eyes. I was like a jack-o'-lantern. This is a genre I like to call wig comedy, which is very prominent in 2013 to 2016, that Vine era, and now still really. When any man who was playing a woman online would just put a rag on his head. In 2012, King was nominated for a Shorty Award. Winners of this prestigious award include feminist icons Malala Yousaf and Duolingo. At the 2014 YouTube Entertainment Awards, King won a Best YouTube Comedian. He was booked and busy at this time, hosting, doing other gigs. He was featured on BBC America, educating American royalties Poppy and Georgie Carlton, on staples of American culture like Hueves and Big Sean. I remember these constipated Yakubians. They were such an underrated comedic duo.
Wait, you watch your sister through the bushes?
Well, how else do you learn about people without watching them?
Oh my goodness. Is that what you guys do in your spare time?
All of our time is spare.
From this time to around 2017, he was still uploading and doing collabs. But in 2018, he took like a whole year off. Well, 10 months. But that's still a whole baby. Around this time, King, who even back in his college days had wanted to work as a sort of celeb correspondent, professionally doing what he was kind of already doing on his YouTube channel. But now he actually gets to go on red carpets and sniff these celebs' hair in real life. You don't have to break into their homes anymore, baby. The day that he signed to work with Clever, their parent company Defy shut down. Do y'all remember Clever? It was like the internet version of E-News. If they were still around and relevant today, their video titles would unironically be this tweet. It seems that King wanted to explore other gigs. He was even making videos for Just Kidding News. In 2019, he uploaded the now deleted video, "I've been on YouTube for 10 years and I'm low-key miserable," where he stated, "I've been thinking about the current state of our world, and the overall divisive vibe caused me to have some deep revelations about myself and specifically about my YouTube journey." Also stating that there were not that many YouTubers that looked like him, and he just never really felt a strong sense of belonging. So he just stopped attending industry events and social gatherings. I mean, to be fair, I think the only thing he was missing out at those parties was a coked out Jake Paul cornering him and talking about product integration. Apparently, the two people who helped him feel less alone around this time were Lily Singh and Tila Dunn. Tila, I did not expect to see you here. It was that year that he privated a lot of his older content. It didn't really seem like a preemptive move to avoid a backlash due to, a changing online environment. It seems that he was just pivoting in his life and genuinely didn't like some of his older takes, some of which he states that he currently views as being misogynistic or unnecessarily harsh. Or it could just be that sometimes you don't like some of the older stuff that you've posted. Just thinking a video is kind of cringe is a valid reason to take it down. I don't think there has to be some sort of grand political or philosophical shift to just not like some of their older stuff. Now everything from 2015 to 2021 has been scrubbed, but he uploaded several mega compilation videos of all his overexposed content titled Flashback, insert specific year. And I'm not gonna lie, I am glad that a lot of these videos are now archived. I completely forgot about that random Keely Williams song. Not I'm thick and patty, broken promiseth. This one featuring Predator. Last night I was drunk, I didn't know what. That was a little more Whitney Houston than I expected. He has started uploading overexposed videos again in 2024. He's not very consistent, but he's still dropping a video here or there. It seems like his socials have been wiped, so he might just be taking a step back from the virtual space, enjoying his life, eating mangoes or whatever. And honestly, look, a decade plus on the internet, I understand maybe wanting to move on to other things in your life. Wishing him the best. This is a commentary, aka Tre Melvin. Born October 28th of 1992 in the baddest city in the Midwest, Dayton, Ohio, Tre was first and foremost a performer, even acting professionally as a child. I distinctly remember in one of his older videos, he showed a clip of him acting in an ad for the Children's Hospital in Cincinnati or something. I cannot find the footage anywhere, but I remember it because they dressed him up in these exact glasses and a striped polo. He looked like an accountant on Casual Friday. Tre attended Stryver's School for the Arts from 7th to 12th grade, but it wasn't until he began attending Bellarmine University and then University of Chicago for marketing that he created his channel, formerly known as This Is a Commentary, now just Tre Melvin, back in 2011. All of his OG videos from that era have been privated, but thanks to some re-uploads and frankly my own memory, the first era of his channel were his college computer room commentary videos. Something about this space is haunting. Like, you know that a group of friends slowly subjected each unsuspecting member to 2 girls, 1 cup in there back in the day. This might as well be a CIA black site. Tre would comment on hot topics and cultural trends with his sort of unofficial series, Insert Group these days. Liars, Children of God, African Americans. Similar to Kingsley, having done some research on the more, modern Tre, I can see why he privated some of these videos. It might just be that he doesn't align with some of these takes anymore. He was uploading vital tutorials like how to shut the F up for dummies. Watermelondrea Jones, it's actually surreal to say that name out loud, was easily his best known character.
Discrepancy 2. Didn't Tay-Tay kill 5 women, 7 children, and rob 3 banks in 20 minutes? I'm gonna need Tay-Tay to stay with her kids. Discrepancy 3.
They caught me slipping, LOL.
No, you caught you slipping. You was one lonely heifer.
A sort of precursor of this character with very similar mannerisms and a pitched up voice was introduced in the video Ghetto Wood High, but the blonde Party City wig and pink Hollister Laguna top had yet to be introduced. The channel's unofficial second era was marked with more skits.
Lame also be like,
push to start.
Teen mom looking at bitches be like,
The reason I breathe.
ugly bitches be like,
Team Barbie.
looking like Cynthia, broke bitches be like,
I stay counting that paper.
And a gradually evolving intro, the later one featuring a snippet from the gospel song I Respect Women. I'm getting flashbacks seeing some of these. I want to see like 2012 to 2014 intros. Again, it's hard to create an accurate timeline with limited records. This must have been what it felt like after the Library of Alexandria burnt down. His videos would still include rants, but he would lean into more trendy video concepts, such as insert group of people say. A lot of black versus white, insert whatever, parents, horror movies, court proceedings. By the way, this is every single one of these black versus white stereotype videos rolled into one. Are you ready? Swisher Sweet Americans be like, oh no, I spilled lean / a menthol cigarette on my unemployment check / synthetic weave. How will I fund my mixtape now? I know who killed Biggie. Axe. White walkers be like, I drive by hate crime cookouts by throwing raisins in their food while eating coleslaw out of my dog's mouth. It's a vegan rescue. My self-diagnosed autoimmune disorder. Stock portfolio. By 2013, Tre's production quality had gone up. He was doing a lot of topical sketches, like playing Jay-Z after Solange's Mortal Kombat audition. He'd play Lil Wayne, Drake after the Pusha T beef. The light-skinned stock has been down ever since. In my opinion, his magnum opus was Destiny's Child Goes to Therapy.
Wow, B, really?
that's Queen B to you, Monica.
It's Michelle.
Whatever the it is, it's broke.
You think you better than us because you got Grammys? Me and Michelle got plenty of recognition too, B.
Kids Bop Awards 2002 nominations don't count, boo.
Your light-skinned ass need to find Jesus.
I got you, boo, as soon as you find your father.
I was clearly the lead singer of the group.
Bitch, who are you?
LaToya Luckett.
Who?
The fourth member of Destiny's Child.
Oh, the bitch my dad hired to mop the floors after our shows.
Fuck you and that sun-dried raisin you call your husband.
On back to that Honda Civic you pulled up in. Security, get this one-hit wonder ass bitch out my face. Well, would you look at that? Looks like that's all the time we have for today.
Tre really cleared the discount doll bin at his local Dollar Tree for these videos. Every line of the Destiny's Child video is a banger. When LaToya Luckett called Jay-Z a sun-dried raisin, I said, that's going in the Rolodex. Watermelondrea was featured in many a series, including Dr. Drea, ghetto nursery rhymes, really like any sort of ghetto insert situation or event. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Pearl Harbor. Obviously, if the name was too subtle. The character is meant to be a sort of caricature of a ghetto black woman. And unlike some other creators who had a similar shtick, I think the reason people, and specifically a lot of black women who comprised most of Tre's fan base, remember this character a bit more fondly because she was written to be funny and relatable and not just the butt of the joke. Tre would play various members of Watermelondrea's family in skits, including her mother, Grandma Brown, Grandpa, cousins LaStrawberry, Grapey Alexandra, plus Drea's brother, Ante, street name Lil Cuey. A lot of the lore of this family are revealed in the holiday/family reunion episodes, the first of which occurs after Watermelondrea gets into a car accident due to scrolling through Twitter while driving. When else are you supposed to use it besides work? Now remember, Tre was an actor before he was a YouTuber, so you can tell that he was using some of these skits as a means of actually flexing his acting skills and experimenting around with more elaborate storylines. He was also collabing with other creators like T. Pindell.
Why you keep licking the dehydrated lips?
Tre's older videos were mostly lighthearted, but he would occasionally sprinkle in cultural commentary that was more sincere, like his rant about the phrase sounding white and how condescendingly racist it is when referring to just any black person that is articulate. Heck, even Watermelondrea made a response to Raven Simone in her Rooster era when she said, if your name is Watermelondrea, I'm just not gonna hire you. Especially post 2016 with the rise of BLM and Trump getting elected, Tre would be a lot more vocal about his political beliefs. Again, a lot of these videos have been put on private, but I do remember a slight shift. The earliest videos available on his channel are from the Vacation series, which feature watermelondrea and some of her family members, including her soon-to-be brother-in-law, Bone Marrow.
So we just gonna act like this white man's name ain't Bone Marrow.
Vacationing in Northern California during Black History Month and become the target of a mysterious killer. It's an interactive series, so you can choose the fate of each character. Tre was also trying to integrate a few more little educational snippets, like the killer would ask the potential victim a question about Black history, and if they answered incorrectly, they would die. I didn't know who George T. Sampson was before this. His next project was Drea and Michelle, which featured YouTuber Heartbeat and Tommy from Power's son.
Hey, you must be watermelondrea.
Whoa, I had to play that back. Is that his real voice? It's almost unnerving. It's like if a baby started speaking in the voice of Morgan Freeman. The thirst in the comment section is unreal. That Caucasian dude looks like a whole white chocolate molten lava cake with vanilla bean ice cream on the side, drizzled in caramel and white chocolate syrup.
What do they say? White man's.
In the series, Heartbeat walks in on her best friend, watermelondrea, hooking up with her boyfriend. Their worlds are sent spiraling into a warped murder plot that guarantees to change the course of their lives. Post 2017, again, the freaking adpocalypse. If you were making short form skits that were not able to have any mid-roll ads, or posting anything even slightly raunchy, the algorithm was just not going to push your content as aggressively. Also, combined with standard burnout and changing career goals, Tre's online presence began to shift. He delved into podcasts. If you live in LA, having a podcast is mandated by the state. His first podcast was called Bottoms Up, originally on Crashbox, which didn't go beyond a handful of episodes back in 2018, but it did feature a lot of his fellow YouTubers, including Zach Campbell, who he would do another podcast, Tired Ass, with, though I think just Zach hosts the podcast now. In 2019, he delved into another artistic venture, releasing his first EP, Pluto, and posting the single Numb to his channel. In 2020, Tre was in a very bad car accident alongside his best friend, who tragically passed away. Remember this event. In 2021, he created the series Please Disinfect, which was just Tre, I guess, like going around and telling people to wear a mask. He released his first short film, My Ex-Husband Married My Brother.
Huh? What?
To be fair, that is what happens.
I don't know what I expected.
But the film is more an exploration of grief and betrayal. It was clear that he was transitioning into making more dramatic projects. During the past few years, Tre has been more active on short-form platforms like TikTok and Reels. I was on my TikTok about a year ago and stumbled upon him doing a Kamala Harris skit and thought, Tre, is that you?
I know what you're thinking. Has Vice President Harris poisoned Joe Biden's morning coffee every day since 2020?
These platforms were allowing him to reconnect with older fans, make new ones, and allow him to still make sketches, do character work, etc. Made even better by the fact that these videos are even less of a time or financial commitment. He's opened up about why he stepped back from the online sphere, stating that when he turned 30, he felt like he wanted to reconnect more with his acting roots, and he felt social media was taking away from that goal. In 2022, he created the series Drunk Black History, which is pretty self-explanatory and is based on Comedy Central's Drunk History, where comedians chug vodka and slur their way through Amelia Earhart's plane crash. It's how she'd want to be remembered. Tre did not include an episode on the scientist Yakub, sadly. Technology's erasure of history is at it again. This series also served as a fundraiser for Push Black, which is a nonprofit that supports Black-led media, like the Zeus Network. Just kidding. The CIA funds that. In 2013, he spent a semester at Juilliard, honing his craft. I was kind of curious what his Twitter was like. Opened it up, and this was the first thing I saw. Me at 12 versus Blue Ivy at 12. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Y'all are poor. Hope this helps. He still got that dog in him. He also posts a lot of selfies, which, I mean, if I had that bone structure, so would I. Okay, remember the car crash that I mentioned earlier? Do you also remember the eclipse that happened in April of 2024? Some of you might recall this horrific news story regarding a woman who, in fear of the eclipse, unalived her partner and then pushed her kids out of a moving car before crashing said car. Apparently, Tre not only knew her, but he believes that she was the one who was responsible for his 2020 accident. It's, you know what, I will let him explain.
So there's been a lot of speculation regarding this woman. For spiritual purposes, I will not be saying her name, but will instead be referring to her as the host. Why the host? Because people can vilify her all day and all night, but at the end of the day, there was a very powerful darkness working through her. Whether you believe in the devil or divine tricksters or demons, etc., I believe her to be nothing more than, not nothing more, but be a host, to be a vessel, to be a pawn for that darkness to move through her. I don't believe her to be inherently evil. So in case you haven't heard, the host was a very popular astrology influencer and spiritual practitioner / healer. I use the term healer very loosely because although she did abuse many people, I do genuinely believe she helped many people as well. She helped me. I learned back in 2019 that she was not only doing black magic on her followers, not all, but on her followers, but also people closest to her. And when Kathy and I found out, we cut ties with her completely. After she found out that Kathy and I cut her off, she cursed us. Let's go back to 2020. On June 22nd, 2020, I was on the receiving end of a hit and run with Kathy. We were knocked unconscious upon impact, hospitalized, our brains bled. My bleeding stopped the following morning. Kathy's did not. And she passed away the following day. And the crash made international news. The curse impacted my career, my money, my relationships, etc. And to protect myself and the people around me, I won't explain that any further.
Yeah, I did not expect this to be part of the timeline, but it's a bleak world out there. Tre is still making his own projects under Tre Melvin Studios. In 2024, he created the limited series Unendowed, starring the now 31-year-old and reformed watermelondrea, now Professor Drea Dinkleberry of Roach University. But a blackmailer comes a-knocking and threatens to reveal her hidden past to her unsuspecting husband. 10 months ago, he revealed that a lot of his older videos, including newer projects, behind-the-scenes content, Q&As, etc., would be available on his Patreon. So all of his older, classic, well-known videos are behind a paywall. I remember about 4 years ago when I was trying to rewatch specifically the Destiny's Child video, and it was on private, along with a lot of his other videos. But then they were later just inexplicably back on his channel. It seemed he had previously tried to do a paywall thing a few years back, and it was not received positively then. But a lot of people's response to hearing about the paywall was, "Sir, we are broke." At the end of the day, it is his content. He can do with it whatever he wants. But I can understand people not wanting to pay for content that they had previously received for free, especially when a lot of it has already been re-uploaded. Tre still makes music with his upcoming album Amphetamine, scheduled to drop on October 28th of this year. He's already released the single Die 1000 Times. It's an R&B track, and whew, I did not know that he could sing like that. He is a creative director and one of the founders of Brand Sonia, which is a creative agency. His Instagram has been scrubbed for the most part. There's some uploads, but he's using it mostly to just promote his newer projects. He'll still post occasionally on TikTok. It seems like the This Is a Commentary chapter of his life has been put to a close, and he is still pursuing his passions. MyToeCold, aka Drew Monson, born on June 26, 1995 in liminal space, Modesto, California. His first YouTube video was uploaded on June 27th, 2007. Yeah, get it? Drew's early videos are what I can only describe as bored kid tweaking out in his basement. It's quite refreshing to see videos that are just fun. You know, it wasn't content yet. His early classics include I'm Not a Girl and Pillars of Islam outtakes. Man, that Tina Belcher haircut was so iconic. That was fashion in the 2000s, okay? People in Europe looked like this. Unfortunately, there were, of course, people giving him hate in the comments for it. That's because they didn't see the vision. His foray into music started early. The first song he released, Babies Are Cool.
Babies are cool. Babies are cool.
You can't tell me this isn't Nirvana. Not to flex or anything, but I also used to improvise songs in my room as a child.
Jesus Christ, did he keep getting in my house?
Thank you. I didn't say they were good. His sonic magnum opus has got to be Booty in My Butt. I like it though. I'm not even joking. This is so asinine. I mean, literally. I love it.
By the way, Teresa, how wow is your rash? It's healing up. Is it now? I just told you. I don't want to get into it right now, Teresa. Okay, cut to, it's this African drum beat, no offense, but just like a bunch of people on the line with masks, they're all dancing at the same time. Booty butt, hey!
Booty in my butt. His videos were kind of all over the place. Anything from random posts to his My Thoughts series, where he dissected and commented on lyrics of popular songs of the day, like Pepsi enthusiast Britney Spears' Womanizer, and Atlanta menace T.I.'s masterpiece, whatever you like. His adorable grandma Dorothy would occasionally get featured. Their dynamic is so awkward yet sweet.
You can pretend I'm Gaga.
What?
You can pretend I'm Gaga.
Lady Gaga?
Lady Gaga.
While still in high school, he would occasionally do stand-up, even uploading some of his performances.
My theory with these people who work at the school, and not the teachers, but the campus supervisors and the librarians and the ladies in the office, it's pretty obvious that they're kind of just angry at the world in general. If you think I'm being mean, or you disagree with me, let me ask you a question, sir or ma'am. When's the last time you asked a sweet little girl with her sweet little pigtails, what do you want to be, sweetie? Well, I'll tell you. I want to get a perm, I want to get divorced 3 times, and I want to be an uptight secretary in the high school detention office. That's what I want to do. It's always a perm, by the way. My advice to you guys, if you ever see a perm, just get out. And if there's not a visible exit, break a window.
His grandma busted some sweet moves with him on stage. She's off that Boniva. As he got older, his videos were still pretty random, but his comedic voice was definitely getting more refined. There was just this intimacy of watching someone yap in their room, basically. I mean, that was what the backbone of YouTube was. In 2014, Drew uploaded, I Was Attacked.
Something happened. I was threatened recently. Not on the internet, surprisingly enough, but on the phone. I received a personal phone call from a young man. I won't get into the exact reason for the call, but I will say that I didn't actually do anything wrong, and men are psychopaths. Now, it happened very quickly. I don't really remember exactly everything he said. It was mostly just a very detailed description of how he was going to violently beat me if he ever saw me, which, by the way, is an interesting point I'd like to bring up. I do remember his phrasing on that. It was, if I ever see you. Not, I'm going to come and find you. He's not going to seek me out. He's not driving over. He's not going to invest gas money into this assault. But just if we happen to run into one another at a place, he'll do what he has to do. Anywhere, I assume. Grocery store, pasta aisle. He'll most likely abandon a full cart. Let's do this. I mean, aquarium. Fuck this octopus. I've got an ass to kick.
This video went semi-viral. It even spawned a meme. The greatest honor a person can achieve besides the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Award. This is how I found out about Drew back in the day. A little-known YouTuber by the name of Shane Dawson stumbled upon Drew's channel and they began hanging out IRL. Shane's comment is still visible in the comment section of this video. He was even cast in Dawson's directorial debut, Not Cool, in 2014, which, you know, was a film. I will say though, Drew's was easily the best performance in the movie. This link up would begin his era of collabs with Shane Dawson and Trisha Paytas. STD, as some would refer to them as. These vlogs were so fun. It's sad that Trish basically just scrubbed them from her channel.
What do you want? I kind of want orange chicken, but I feel like they don't make good Chinese food here because it's like American food, and they're just like, here's some Chinese.
Whatever you want.
Whatever I want.
Yeah.
I can't have that right now.
You're so funny.
I guess there's a bathroom.
I can't take you seriously.
Would you let me breastfeed you?
Ew. That's not what you would say on a date. That's not what you would say on a date.
Have you ever lactated? No. Would you ever kiss me?
Wait, what?
I'm watching it. Will Ferrell.
Oh, yeah. He's so hot. I would totally
Would you make out
him.
with me?
Oh my god, you're so funny.
Okay.
That's funny. You're
Would you make out with me? Would you make out with me right now if I wanted to?
Oh. Wait, seriously?
I want to make out.
Seriously?
Really bad. I haven't touched someone for a really long time.
You think I'm pretty?
No, but I like really lonely.
Ew.
Trisha constantly looking at herself in the viewfinder is sending me. Drew would usually take a random line from the video and then he would make a little song out of it and he'd put it towards the end of the video where he was plugging his socials. The most recurring one was the leave me a comment, I'm freaking lonely. I really enjoyed his collabs with Shane. A lot of them involved food or challenges, as this was during Shane's insane a daily upload schedule of clickbaity / viral content with the same exact reaction photo in the thumbnail. 2015 YouTube was something else.
Listen, guys. A lot of people say Netflix and pizza. I say Redbox and whatever the fuck this is.
Drew's channel was still a healthy mix of collabs, random hauls, rants, obligatory clickbait, Q&As.
What is the story behind MyToeCold? I've been like waiting a while to explain this, but then I realized that it's not that interesting. You know when you're in your house and your feet get cold. I always thought that your toes get colder than the rest of your feet, and out of your toes, the big boy toe gets the coldest, and then sometimes, I don't know if you do this, you like wrap your fingers around that big toe like a cold toe finger hug. You really feel the coldness of your toe. And look what it's all brought me.
This one video of his called My Personal Life is so touching. I don't even think he was intending for it to be so sentimental, but the ending of it in particular it leaves me feeling so odd. It's kind of beautiful.
Hi, my name is Drew, and I have lived in the same place for my entire life of 19 years up until this point because in 2 days I am moving. This is my room. I've eaten over 150 burritos in here. This is where I would walk to school every morning at 7 a.m. and listen to sad white people music in my headphones. This is where I went to high school. I cried here 3 times. Once in the bathroom and twice in the library. This is a hospital. This is where I was born.
I'm not even kidding when I say that this might be one of my favorite videos online. Well, besides this one. He would occasionally upload much more raw and personal videos. Now, normally my advice to any person that has footage of them crying or breaking down is to delete it. You don't know what can be used against you in court. But in Drew's case, this vulnerability did allow a lot of young people to resonate with him. From 2014 to 2016, he leaned into more clickbaity videos, but with his own twist. He was also collabing with more YouTubers. In January of 2015, he moved to LA in order to pursue acting, but also continue doing YouTube. This is a year that he started his Dollar Tree / 99-cent store hauls, which became a staple on his channel. A lot of Shane's fans migrated to Drew's videos and really loved him. Plus, he was still doing a bunch of collabs with Shane and Trisha. He liked slices of pizza. You'd see this pizza motif a lot in fan art of him, holding up that greasy slice like it's a dead fish. He has reacted to some of his older videos, and it is nice to see that he still thinks somewhat fondly of them, and he's allowing his digital footprint to remain intact. It was also very convenient for me making this video. In 2017, he took a 7-month hiatus from YouTube, citing stress, burnout, and not really knowing what kind of content to make after the 2016 election. By then, his music would get featured more in his videos. And honestly, they were all just little jams. Around this time, he had an accompanying comeback song and music video, which was directed by Shane Dawson. During his semi-frequent absences, people would speculate about his whereabouts, a trend that would continue for years. Around this time, Shane had transitioned into his spooky / conspiracy theory era, and Drew would still get occasionally featured in his videos. Along with Garrett and Andrew, they were known as the Spooky Boys. This is unrelated, but around this time, do y'all remember when Shane included a story about his friend and former collaborator Brittany and her infant son nearly being sold into human in this same video where he talked about the Chuck E. Cheese pizza conspiracy, both handled in like the same serious tone. From 2018 to 2020, his video uploads were more sporadic. He would start opening up a bit more about his depression at this time. Drew was still making music and was promoting his songs a lot more during this time, and they weren't just joke or parody songs either. Back in 2015, he had already released an album, The Pop He Faked. The songs feature a lot of piano ballads. The opening piano riff in Wakefield slaps. In 2019, he released Not My Songs. The sound of this album is a lot more mellow. He even started a very short-lived podcast with his grandma this year. There are only 4 episodes. Listen, I do not expect artsy people to be consistent, okay? That's part of the appeal. Not everybody can be Stephen King. That man writes for 3 hours every single day, and that was including when he was an alcoholic and a junkie. I'm not trying to be insensitive, but that's legitimately impressive. What's your excuse? He also created his second channel, Drew Monson 2, but there's only one early video available from that year. The rest are from 2021 onward. And at that point, his videos on this channel were a lot more confessional. If you like the vibe of someone just being raw and honest with you for about 30 minutes, like you're on FaceTime or you're watching someone through a two-way mirror, you'll like this channel. He talks about uncomfortable topics like his quote-unquote failed acting career, but you know, it's still fairly lighthearted. This isn't like Sunset Boulevard 2.0.
I met Logan Paul, this is good, in an audition in 2015. He was leaving while I was walking in. He said, "Good luck, bro," and rode off on one of those like electric skateboard hoverboard things from back then. I didn't get the part. Logan Paul cursed my acting career. Part 2, link in my bio, link to my crystals. Buy some, protect yourself from the wrath of St. Paul.
It turns out that this viral tweet was also his. Going viral might be like jury duty at this point. Warhol's 15 minutes of fame was a threat. His style of videos were still true to form, with talking about YouTubers I'm jealous of and talking to a woman. On April 3rd of 2023, he uploaded Finally Talking About It, where he opens up about a lot of the context and information he'd left out regarding his various hiatuses from the internet. He had previously been open about his mental health struggles and how they had contributed to his online absences, but he had never mentioned the accompanying struggles with substance abuse.
Like, we have all just perfected rapidly dehumanizing people all the time and just like classify someone as either a small perfect being that we all must protect or like an evil monster with no good qualities, kill, kill, kill. Either way, you're not a human, and nobody is either of those, or we're all both, or whatever. But like, you know, there's things I want to talk about, but I don't want my pain to be turned into like a bullet point list on Reddit, you know?
The video goes into a lot more detail. He's very open and vulnerable, and I implore you to go and watch that video in its full context, because he explains this personal issue a lot better than I could. Also, leave it to Drew to still be able to make me laugh in such a harrowing video.
And I've always felt like maybe I have ADHD, and people diagnose me in the comments, and that counts for something. I would bring the screenshots into my Beverly Hills psychiatrist. He said it counts as a referral.
In 2023, he released his third album, I'm Dead. The production value has gone up, okay? He is not recording in a little closet anymore. His lyrics are also more somber. My favorite song of his has got to be I'm Not Famous Anymore. I don't know if it's officially on any of his albums, but it is such a little bop. I was listening to it at my Whole Foods the other day. I go there to lick the produce and then just leave. I'm strengthening the immune system of my fellow Americans, okay? I deserve a medal. Drew moved out of LA at this time when he realized, oh, I can record videos in my room literally anywhere. Exactly. In 2023, his grandmother Dorothy tragically passed away, and Drew's video talking about her and his grief is so touching. Rest in peace, Dorothy. From then to about 2024, he would occasionally upload on his main channel, and Drew Monson too. And the vibe of the videos was pretty similar to most of his content, but honestly, after a decade plus, no, actually close to 2 at this point, I don't expect people to have the same energy and enthusiasm when it comes to making videos. He is still making music though, even performing his music live for the first time in summer of 2023. I know some of you might have been wondering why he hasn't been on Trisha's podcast yet.
I wonder is Selena Gomez named Rare Beauty because she has that rare disease?
He has been asked, and they've texted about it, but he doesn't live in LA anymore, and he says traveling just stresses him out. And he's just nervous about the whole thing. It's not like there's any beef between them. His latest YouTube video was uploaded on March 6th of 2024. His Instagram is private, and he doesn't tweet that often, but his Twitter is fun to go through. There's a lot of gems in there. I feel he really thrives when it comes to like short bursts of creativity. The most recent post on his Twitter is from 2022 when he faked that photo of him next to Zendaya and Tom Holland, which he's talked about this tweet on his channel. Regardless, it seems like he's just taking a step back and living his life in private. I really hope and pray that he can remain sober. I'm not gonna lie, this was genuinely sad. I don't want to make this sound like condescending or anything, but Drew brought me a lot of joy back when I was a sad, crusty little teenager. Just sucks how cruel life and LA can be. Anyway, wherever he is, I hope that he is doing well. Okay, that wraps up volume 1 of this series. If you want me to cover more comedic YouTubers who just quit or disappeared, give me some suggestions. I already have some idea of individuals I want to include in the next volume of this. Christine Sedelko is gonna be on that list. I miss her. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know every single time that I upload. And as always, thank you for watching. Shout out to my top patrons. If you would like to donate to my Patreon, click on the link in the description or the one on screen. Thank you to my other lovely patrons. Your names should be scrolling on screen as I speak. Bye.